Hi everybody, this is Ellen. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this bracelet on one loom. So it looks just like this. I think I found, or with the banding, I figured out kind of a fabulous way to make it so that it just has the one row up the middle when you have the one loom version. I think this is just adorable. It's an expansion of my other bracelets that I've put out, or will be putting out. I assume they'll go out first, but of course kind of filming these all right around the same time, so I don't have a particular name for this one yet, but I will figure that out before the tutorial is out. I just really like the way this one looks with the little squares, and it's a nice thick bracelet, and it does not take too many rubber bands, I don't think, to get this effect. I think if you've done my herringbone bracelet, that one definitely has some. It's a little harder to connect and things like that, but this is actually pretty easy, I think, so hopefully you'll think that as well. You can get, I guess, 12 squares, or half of the bracelet, on one loom length, so I will show you how to extend it to go all the way around your wrist. You can make this on any of the looms, but if you have the rainbow loom, we are going to offset the pin bars like this because we can get 6 of the little squares on at a time, but if you do it with the other looms you can only get 5 on, because that's the soonest. Like the other loom has the pin bar here and then the next one up, so you'd have the first time you could do a slant is up here, so you're kind of missing a couple pins, but you can still make this, and it's still pretty much the same construction, so you just have to kind of find that first slant on the loom to do that, and then follow as we go. But we will get started, and the band is bugging me, it's poking out. Alright, so we'll get started like I just said a second ago. And we're going to start with our loom first, offset this way. And we're going to do the border, or lay the border bands. So we're going to go all the way up the left side. And again, if you have the other looms that aren't able to be offset, you won't quite go all the way to the top, but it's almost. But you can just go all the way to the top and then remove a couple bands to match the slant that's up here when you get there. I think I really just like this because you can make it so it's almost perfectly square, but it's on a slanted position in the loom, so I think that's neat. So now we're going to do our cross pieces, which are across the bracelet here. So start at the bottom and go to the right. And you're going to skip a row and then do 2 more bands to the right. And you'll do that all the way up your loom for as much as you can. Skip a row and more bands. And the last one up here. Alright, and then we will do a line of bands all the way up what will be the center of the bracelet. So back here at the beginning, and just go all the way up the right side. Like so. Then you're going to want to end cap here. Usually make it the color of the border, like 3 times would be good. Like that. And now we're going to actually be kind of laying bands towards the middle, because when we loom out they'll go back this way. So I like to turn my loom so that on this side the slant, or the farthest part out of the slant, is towards you. Then we're just going to go from this pin out to these 3 pins here, and then come back in to this pin. You can either do it in steps like this, so out, and then come back in towards this pin, like that. Or once you get the pattern down, just go up, just make that line all the way to that point. Like that. So you just want to repeat that into every square. Like so. And last one. Like that. So again, I still have the red arrow next to me, and we want to put end caps onto the half of our square here on this pin. Make sure you get it on the correct side, which should be the right side. I'm choosing the color that is the same as my border and along the middle because it kind of hides in there. And you want these to be like 3 times around, would be good. So just on the point of every color there. It's a second broken band I picked up today. Alright, so now we have this, and that should be all the laying of the bands that we need for right now. So we'll do some looming now. So we can turn our loom around, and we're going to loom out the centers of our square. And we'll do that by going in through the end cap we just placed, grabbing whatever band is on top, pulling back towards itself, and you might as well just go all the way to this pin over here. So again, go in through the end cap, grab the top band, pull it back towards itself, and do the same thing with the next one. It's just kind of like crooked lines you want to follow coming out of that end cap to get that effect. And you'll repeat that in every square. And then when you go through here, you are going through this one too, so they get connected together there. But just keep repeating that. And one more to go. So like so. So we have all the middles of the squares loomed out. Now what we're going to do is come back to our beginning right here where we have the end cap, and we're going to loom up this single chain that runs along this side of the bracelet. So it's the top band, and then you should still have a cross piece underneath that. So through the end cap and the top band, pull that one over. And then loom all the way up. That. So we'll come back to the beginning again. We're going to do our cross pieces now. So back in through the end cap to start with. Grab that bottom band, loom it over. Do that for the rest of them. You'll notice we're just kind of using this as our end cap here. That. And then lastly we'll come back and do this side. So go all the way up. Like that. So that is everything loomed for this side of the bracelet. And if you'll notice, I do have another design or pattern out that's just for this portion of it. I did change the banding a little bit because if you leave it like this, which I changed the banding to get this. The original one I actually have different banding because if you have it the exact same as this, you have these kind of pokes, or the color pokes out on one side and the other side won't. So I did change the banding so that you can't, the color is uniform on both sides. So, but there's that tutorial too if you want to check that one out for just changing this so it works a little better together. But back to this. Now, you can take apart the loom, flip it over. We do need to have the loom going the opposite way for the other half of this. And you can take off this first two rows and flip them over and then pull bands up. I'm just going to take it off the loom and fit it back over. Now, some of these points will probably be a little hard to find. It's going to get a little tricky because we just need end caps in some spots to go over the next pins. It's really up to you how you want to do it. If you want to mark the places where they are, you can do that. You know, stick a bobby pin, or I put a band with a C-clip through them so you can recognize the centers better. But I'm just going to take it off and hope for the best. It might be a little difficult, but I think we'll manage. So I'll take this off my loom. And where the multiple bands are on the side, it kind of gets a little sticky, but so just remove that one. I don't want this to be super tight here because I'm going to need it back open when we extend it. Alright, so here's half of it. Here's the half that's on the middle, and then you have the outside. So I'm just going to set this aside for right now, and we'll work on the other loom. And like I said, the first loom was pointed down on the left side. The second half will be pointed down on the right side. So you need this to be your loom shape now. So first we'll start with the bands all the way up the right side. Like so. Now we will do the cross pieces. So starting it down to the bottom, you'll go to the left 2 bands, skip a row, and then 2 bands to the left. And do that all the way up the loom. So skip a row, two bands, like so. Now we're going to fill up the centers. So however your color scheme, although I think I kind of goofed mine in different than how I wanted it to be. Like these are separate squares, so however you want them to look. And you got to think that technically you took it off your loom. I guess it'd be this way. So you have I have a red here. So whatever I want over here, that'll be correspond. So just for your color scheme, try and kind of match that. If you need to hold your other bracelet up next to it, just whatever end your clip is on, or however you're securing this, that'll be at the red arrow end, so then you can coordinate your colors to go up. So I'm going to start with purple. I'm actually going to turn my loom to the side. So I have the line next to me because we're going to loom or lay our bands towards this point in the middle. But it's the same banding as before in the center. Just kind of that rectangle with the line through it. And you'll repeat that in every square. Oops. think I should have mixed up my colors a little bit more, but because it'll be yellow across from here and green across from here, but oh well, it'll still be pretty. Last one. Like so. Alright. So here comes the tricky part, I suppose. You need to line these back up. But in the centers where the colors are, we only want the cap band to be back on this pin. You don't want the line of the single chain line to be on the pin at all. So you'll first want to start with, oops, that's a little close. So again, your open end is going to be down here by your red arrow. First find that corner, set that on there, and the next one you're just going to want the end cap. If you wrap them 3 times, make sure you get all 3 bands, or however many times you wrap them. So it kind of gets a little futzy right here, but just the cap band goes over. And then finding the next one isn't too hard because you have the your cross band coming out of it. So that'll go back on the pin. And then in the next one, you just want the end cap. As long as you kind of work your way down, you shouldn't get off on where the bands are, because it kind of squishes up, and I mean my end cap for this one is right here, so you kind of have to pull it down as you're going. Like that. So now you want to make sure to look at it. That would be bad if that came off. So you can see on this one I only have the end cap wrapped around the pin, and my lines, my cross pieces line up. This is just the end cap. So you're going to want to check. Even if you're pretty sure you got it on right the first time, just check again. Yikes. And they look good, so that is connected. So now you turn your loom around, non-red arrow side, and we're going to loom out the other side, or the other side of the squares here. So in through the end cap, which should be the only part on here, not the single chain. Go in and grab that. This pin bar wants to fly off. That would be bad. So go in there, grab that top band, loom it back towards itself, and then do that for all the bands in there. Like so. And just go on and do the rest of them. We're just working on that top layer for the squares. Alright, so now you have all these centers out. So we'll come back to the beginning and we'll do our cross pieces. So in through this end cap here, and go over to the left. And then through the next one, you'll just kind of see, remember we use that single chain up the middle for our end cap. Just loom up all the cross pieces. Like so. And we'll come back to the beginning and we'll go up the, what is now the left side. Like that. So that's everything loomed. So now we can take some of this off. I'm going to pop off the, where we have the multiple bands here, because that'll stick. Makes it a little easier. And just remember you still have an open point up here, so don't pop that off. So now we can remove this from the loom. And there we have it. Nice little block pattern. Nice and square. I love it. But of course this is not long enough to go all the way around your wrist unless you have a very small wrist, so I will show you how to extend this as well. So I'm going to, I'll just leave that on the hook for now. So here's the thing, you have to figure out your color pattern that you want. I know I kind of touched on it before, you know, laying it next to it when you're doing the other half of it. You could also just draw a picture, like little squiggly lines of, you know, if I wanted this color pattern, I just draw a couple lines and Put a little dot of each color I want on each side, that way you can kind of coordinate on each half of the bracelet. So that might be a suggestion too, to kind of get your colors where you want them. So how we do this is you're going to lay exactly the same bands that you had before for the first half of the bracelet. So you'll have to go back in the video to do that if you don't remember. It'll be everything from first the band that ran up the left side, the cross pieces over, and then the single chain up the right side, then the little rectangles with the cross through it, through all the squares, and then the end caps on the inside of above the single chain side of your rectangles. So you want to do that, and then I will show you the little things you need to do for your banding to make sure that they're connected. The other thing is that if you start on a particular side for your color, like when we ended this, my hook is open over here where my purple is, and technically I need to start with this side over here. You can do it oppositely, it doesn't really matter, but I mean you're gonna have to do both sides anyways, so we're just going to secure this side and then work with the side that I need first. So I need the red side over here so that the purples aren't together. Like so. Does that make sense, hopefully? Because I turned it around. Now this is just because of my color scheme. I mean, depending on how your color scheme is, you might not have to switch sides or turn colors around. It's really whichever one matches up with your design. So that's how it was on the loom, and then when you turn it around, if you want that same pattern to go up, you'll have to kind of change things around. So if your pattern works in a certain color so that you could just take the open end from what we had just finished and pop it on here, then that's fine too. The bracelet is uniform, so you shouldn't have any problems with it looking funny if you attach either side. So, like I said, hopefully that makes sense. Now, we need to connect this. And what we'll figure is, I guess I put the end cap on here anyways. You're not going to need the end cap for the start of the single chain, because we'll just use this from before. Close. So you can just put that middle right on over that chain, or the center. And then, if you have this on your hook, just find the center over here. One more band in the back. I'm just going to throw this on this side. And then our middle will be the bottom side. Then there'll be a part that comes, it's basically the center. I'll show you here after I get it over. The center one will have the cross piece with that little, with a color band or part of the square band from before in there. And you'll put that over the top. So you just want to make sure that right now, after you've put it on, you look at it and you say, alright, so this is, the bracelet's coming up and it's going on this side. My single chain with the end caps is, yes, to the right of where I need to add more bracelet to. So just so you don't put it on backwards. I think it'd be pretty, I think you would notice if it was hanging off the wrong side. So just make sure that your design will line up So you have your full line this way, your chain should line up, and then you should still have something hanging off over here. So now, for fixing any of the things that we don't want to be goofy, we left that cross piece there that we put on, and we're going to remove the cross piece that was on the bracelet that we're attaching. You can cut them out or pull them out or whatever you want to do. So now you can see what I have on there right now. What was on the loom was the cross piece. And then the color bands for the next square. Then we have the part that attached from the previous square. Over here will be part of the single chain. This will be from the single chain from before. Then you'll have the single chain for over there. And then the cross piece is underneath that. Now on this side, can make a change. It will get trapped in there, so it's not a huge deal. But if you want the cross piece right here, because we have the border bands for the bracelet we attached on the top, then this is the cross piece, and then this is the chain or the border piece that goes up the side. If you want, you can change where this band is, because technically it's on the inside of the bracelet, or of the line. Like if we look at the next cross piece, this is the cross piece and these are the border. So if you want, like we have to imagine this hasn't been looped yet. If you want to switch this band so it's on this side, it'll still loop. It just might poke out funny, so I usually just switch it. Just because I like to have things the same. So if you take off that cross piece, put the bottom of the border back on, then that cross piece comes up, and then just put this back on for now. It's the loop over band from before. So that should be, this should all be right now. We do have to pick this up and move it when we do some of the other looping, but it's not too bad. So, sorry if I kind of stuck on this stuff a little bit, but I know that a lot of people like them to look a certain way, and I do too, so try to make sure I explain it better. Alright, so now we're going to loop out all of the center squares. I'm going to go through this pretty fast. I'll probably fast forward through it a little bit in editing, just because you should know how to do this part by now. So I'm going to go in through the end caps and just loop these out. So that's the first part right there. Alright. So I'll go through the rest of this pretty fast here. Alright, so all the color pieces are looped now. So now we will go and do the single chain up the side. So you come back in through here. It'll just be there'll be the cross piece band, and then the next band down will be the single chain starting. sorry, it's not the crosspiece band, it's the single going up. That's what I meant. So just loom that up. The crosspiece band will still be free under here, so don't loom that yet. Alright, like so. And come back to the beginning. We're going to loom the cross pieces. So here you'll just go through and grab it. And then the bottom band here. But before you put this on, you'll want to pick up this top border band, which goes up the side of the bracelet, put on the cross piece band, and then replace the side border band. And that should lock everything in correctly right there. So then you can do the rest of your cross pieces. Like that. And then lastly for this one, we'll go all the way up the right side. Alright, so that is everything loomed for that portion, and you can secure this end up here because we won't be adding anything else to this part. So C-clip or however you want. And then again, I would remove some of the block bands there because they kind of stick on the loom. And then we can take this off. So that's what we should have now. Pretty good. So now we do the other side. And here's the band placement for that. Oops. Yeah. So you have the red arrow side. It's the same layout as before. We changed the direction of the loom and how it's slanted. We don't add any end caps to any of the pins. So you lay the single chain up the side, lay the cross pieces, lay your square colors, like so. So then we'll turn this around and we'll attach the other side. So your single chain will be opposite. It's going to be the attaching line over here, so just want to make sure you get that on there correctly or have your loom placed correctly for your bracelet. So again, we want to attach our bracelet. Get my hook through here. I know some people may think it's silly that I keep removing the cross bands, but I think it's a lot easier than saying, well, hang on to that so we can, or all three pieces, or we'd have to remove these bands to get, if we just wanted to try and lay this flat on there. So I think it's just easier to remove a couple bands and put it on. So this time, you open end, we'll go over here on the left. Then you can just put that center there. And then once again find the center of this middle part, which is the cross piece band, then part of the color band, and then get that on the middle there, like so. So now there's going to be a little more work this time to get this on, because we got to go back through and do the end caps like we did before. So I just figure we'll start down here by just placing that on there, and then let's get all of this connected up the side. So again, you just want to try and line, or not try, but line things up. So you want just the end cap across from the blocks. Like so. And the cross piece. Cross piece. The last one might be a little tricky, depending on how you put it on. Just make sure that it looks like this. So you have that cross piece hanging off the side that goes out. Because I actually picked this one up to put it on the top at first, just because of how tight it's pulled. It's easier to find that one than the one that's supposed to be there. So now, take a look at it again. Make sure that you have the entire end cap, that your cross pieces are correct. And looks good. So again, we are just going to, well, come back here and fix the rest of this. So, take off this top border band that runs down the side. and just hang on to it. The next two bands should just be the cross pieces, so you can just remove that. Oops, I mean to do that. So it should look like that. Now, to again make this uniform, I'm just going to put my hook back through this cross piece, through both of them. Pop off this cross piece. Put my bottom border band on. And just take my hook, grab that cross piece, pull that up, and then put that back on. So that'll be the same as the rest of the bracelet then. So now what we want to do is again loom out the center squares. I'll do that again real fast, and then I'll show you with the changing of bands here when we loop up the cross pieces and the side. So I'll probably fast forward through this, but it'll be there to watch if you need it. Alright, so there's all the color pieces done. Now we'll come back and loom the cross pieces. So you come in through here for the first one, grab that bottom band, pull it over, next bottom band. And it's kind of hard to get because this other part of the bracelet is all scrunched up there, but just grab that. Now before you finish looping this one, you're going to want to take off this top side border piece for the bracelet from before, then loop over the cross piece, and then put this border piece back on. Now you can just go and loop over all the rest of the cross pieces. Like so. And now finally we'll go up the side. There. So you want to secure it, or you can just leave your plan to put your hook in there, however you want. Then remove kind of the end of the color blocks because they stick. And then you can take this off your loom. There we go. Awesome. I think it looks fantastic. I don't know. I just love it. I think it's just because they're so square. I don't know why. I'm not square, but you might have to give it a little tug and pull in some places to get if your bands kind of poke or whatnot. Mostly been using jelly, but I think that the other bands will be just fine too. But I think it looks fabulous. You can see this one's almost a little bit longer, which would just have to do with the white bands. So band choice makes a difference in how big they are. But like I said, I think this one is fabulous. I don't have a name yet, but I will come up with something hopefully amazing, so it's not lame. But I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope this is helpful. I really try my hardest to make everything on one loom if I can, because I think everybody should be able to make the designs if they want to and not be limited by only being able to have one loom. But I want to thank everybody for watching. I definitely appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see when I'm coming out with new things. Show me your pictures on Instagram and my Facebook page. All the links for those are underneath my videos. Hopefully I will have, or not hopefully, I will have another tutorial out soon with some other things. But thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. And just thank you. Definitely thank you.